Nope.
Hello, dear listener, and Merry Christmas. If you're here to listen to this story, I assume you've already listened to part 1. If not, I suggest you do so to gain some context before diving into part 2. Link in the description below. Without any further ado, enjoy part 2 of I Went Back Home for Christmas and It Almost Killed Me. Hello again, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I have just enough time to write down the next couple of days of my story. Sorry about the huge amount of exposition in the last one. I promise it'll get worse, you sick bastards. I've gone through some hell, and I think people need to see this. So let's get into it. When I woke up that morning, I reread the text message over and over again. I'm excited to see you. I'm sure it will be sooner or later. Winky face. Literally, what the hell? I knew she was a bit off, but between the outburst the other day and now this message, she was just taking it too far. I shoot her a text, hoping to sound firm, but not mean. Hey, so I've read each of these texts you've sent, and I don't appreciate being accused like this. I am honestly feeling really uncomfortable. I set about my day, got dressed in my favorite black jeans and red sweater, had a sludge lunch, got ready to go to the gym, and throughout the day, I didn't receive a single reply. Thank God, at least she didn't blow up in my face again. She probably saw my text and backed off. That was fine with me. So my dad and I head to the gym, change, and I proceed through my workout as usual. Once I finished was when the first really strange thing happened. Now, to be fair, this was probably all my fault. My father belongs to a private gym, and a prestigious one at that. There was no need to put a lock on my locker. Only members could enter, and only the rich could afford to be a member. Not that I had a lock anyway. After taking a quick shower, I headed to my locker, only to find that my everyday clothes were gone. What the hell? I tore through my bag and locker. Even searched my dad's locker just in case I had put my clothes in the wrong place somehow. Nothing. Then it dawns on me. Shit, what about my wallet? I quickly rummaged through my bag again, and relief washed over me. Luckily, I had put my wallet in the side pocket of my gym bag, and the thief must have missed it when they quickly ran through my stuff. I talked to the front desk about anything being turned in or any suspicious figures entering the premises, and I got nothing. I figured I couldn't blame anybody but myself. The rest of the day passed fairly normally. More of the same, really. Eat, watch, sleep. I heard nothing from Natalie that day, thank God. I never could get over the fact that my clothes were stolen, though. As peacefully as the day went, that night was when the nightmares started. They were all fairly standard, running from an unknown monster, being trapped in an enclosed space with no way out, but one nightmare stood out clearly in my head as being more real than the others. I found myself lying in bed with my head facing the wall when I heard a soft creak on my floorboards. My eyes were now wide, staring intensely at the wall in front of me. The floorboards creaked softly again, but slower. I swear the noise was further away this time. I mustered up what courage I had to turn to see what was there. but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't move at all. Could it have been sleep paralysis? I tried again, harder this time, with the same result. Complete and utter immobility. I don't know if I have to say this, but at least to me, there is nothing more terrifying than being helpless. I must have woken up at some point during this nightmare because I don't remember falling back asleep until the sun started to rise. When I awoke, it was already past noon and my phone was ringing beside my face. I reached to grab my phone and a sharp pain aches my shoulder. I must have pulled a muscle at the gym yesterday, I thought. I knew I shouldn't have tried to lift that much. I pulled the phone closer to me, ignoring the pain, and the name Natalie illuminated the screen. I sluggishly answered, and before I can even say hello, I was greeted with her frantic voice.
Kenji? Hey, I'm so sorry about a couple days ago. I didn't mean to go off on you and get so creepy. My boyfriend and I have been going through a huge fight, and I couldn't keep my emotions in check.
Before I even started speaking, I could feel my mouth dragging, and I forced out a slur. No, it's okay. I understand. Going through rough patches can hurt anyone. You doing alright? Oops. Big mistake. I spent the next 45 minutes listening to her talk about how alone she was, that nobody cared about her, and that her boyfriend was the only one who even knew what was going on in her life, which was really nothing. I know, maybe I should have been more supportive, but I was so tired and I just didn't have it in me to care. I honestly felt bad about that.
Well, do you think maybe we could meet up for coffee? We can catch up some more.
I hesitated, not sure if it was a good idea, but my guilt took over. What could be the worst that happens? Sure. What about tonight? I'm free after 6. And that was that. Little did I know how bad of an idea that was. I had been feeling extremely sluggish and dizzy all day, so I didn't get out of bed except to eat and use the bathroom until about 5 o'clock. As I sat up to get ready, my left shoulder shot pain all the way down my arm. I hate ripped muscles. They hurt beyond belief. I tried to stand up, but immediately fell back into my seated position as a wash of dizziness took over my head. It took a few minutes to gather enough energy, but I slowly made my way to the washroom where I proceeded to throw up. As I showered, my shoulder continued to ache, and I finally decided to look down and see what was up. I felt my stomach churn as I saw 3 holes in my arm that looked like they were caused by something the size of toothpicks. There was no blood though. Maybe they were just imprints. I could have been laying on something all night and day. Either way, there was no blood, so there was no issue, right? I was to meet Natalie in about half an hour at a local coffee shop nearby called Bean There. I've never been there to Bean There. I mean, I hadn't even heard of it before now. Natalie said it's a small, Italian-owned espresso shop that's been open for decades. I plugged the name into Google Maps, and sure enough, it pops up, a 15-minute walk away. My walking had slowed. It must have been the combination of no sleep and the sickness I'd been feeling all day, but that's never really stopped me before. I started my trek towards the coffee shop and texted Natalie. Hey, so I might be a bit late. I'm feeling pretty rough, but I'll be there. Immediately, I get a reply, but it wasn't what I was expecting.
Well, hurry. I'm kind of on a tight schedule.
Alright, no need to be rude. Checking my phone's GPS fairly frequently, I navigated my way towards the coffee shop. After about 20 minutes, I found myself in a run-down part of town. Calgary has a lot of these areas, so I don't pay it much mind. I slowly make my way down the block and saw, wedged in between two old brick buildings, a faded, beaten-up sign reading, "Been there." I squinted a little as I approached and looked into the big floor-to-ceiling windows. A warm light emanated from the window, and inside I see a figure of a couple sitting at the table in front of the window. Well, I found it, and it looks quaint. I made my way to the front door and pushed it open, being greeted not by the expected smell of coffee, but by the almost sour smell of dust. The door squeaks with a rust, and a small bell chimes to signal my entrance. Ahead of me at the far booth, I see a familiar face. Natalie was smiling gently and waving me over. I waved back and made my way, step by step, towards her booth. I turned back to look at the couple, then to the barista at the till, gave her a quick nod, and then back to Natalie, but nothing moved. I know that sounds weird, but literally, the only people or things that were moving inside the building were Natalie and me. Terror overwhelmed me as my head snapped between the couple and the barista. Beneath the hoodie and hastily placed wigs was the laminated, off-white plastic skin of mannequins. I was already halfway across the room when I looked back at Natalie and saw that innocent smile replaced with a crazed grin and a stare that could pierce the soul. I had to get out of there. I was scared. I turned to run, but my fatigue and dizziness overwhelmed me. I tripped over my own feet, falling to the yellow-stained floor below me. I hear Natalie get up from the booth, and her heels click against the ceramic as she closes the distance between the two of us. I counted her steps as I looked towards the doorway, trying to get up. The footsteps stopped. I turned just in time to see her crouching down beside me, her face mere inches away from mine. "Kenji, Kenji, Kenji. You must be feeling pretty tired now. I must have put too much in you, 'cause you were late. Almost spoiled this entire thing." She looked down at her hand. She was brandishing a syringe filled with a clear substance and a large needle at its point. She looked back at me. Her eyes didn't just stare now. They were crazy. She molested me with her eyes, like I was her prized possession. "What the hell, Natalie? What do you mean?" She shoved a dirty rag in my mouth and slammed my head down into the ceramic. The collision made the dizziness much worse. I could barely focus. It was almost unbearable. I heard the door open behind me and heavy footsteps approach. "Oh, about time you got here," Natalie remarked as she flicked the tip of the syringe. The figure didn't say anything, but grabbed me by the arms and forced me up and into the booth nearby. I struggled, trying to get his hands off of me, but whatever Natalie put inside me weakened me immensely. I couldn't even fight back. I looked towards the new figure and saw only one thing before a fist hit me square between my eyes. He was wearing black pants and a red sweater. My black pants and red sweater. As I laid back in the booth, almost blacking out, I felt a shot of pain in my left shoulder. I looked over with the last of my strength to see the syringe implanted into my skin. I tried to scream, but only a weak moan exited my mouth. Shh, my sweetheart. Go to sleep. I'll take care of you good. We're going to have a beautiful Christmas together. I promise. Hello, dear listener. I hope you enjoyed part 2 of the story. Now for a bit of bad news. Don't hate me, but that's as far as the story goes on Reddit. I spoke to the author and he gave me permission to narrate the story and told me he'll be checking it out once it's live. So, if you're itching for a part 3, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. Either way, everybody, thank you for joining me for this special bonus Christmas video. No video tomorrow for Terror Tuesday, but I'll be seeing you guys next week. Until then, stay safe out there. I'll be seeing you in the next video.